one-stop shop for wrestling talk. We're talking champs v contenders, rookies v vets, and shoots v works. I am your host, the Triple Crown Champ. Let's get into it. Champ is here, the champ is here, and welcome back to another edition of the Triple Crown Champ. And today we're talking about SmackDown and the implications on the road to Money in the Bank. Let's get into it. So, first thing I want to talk about is at the top of the show, we have an appearance of Bianca Belair. Now, I'm pleased to see Bianca Belair back, but I'm sure there is no way that she is fit for in-ring action, which is exactly what we saw when she had an in-ring promo with her hometown faithful in Knoxville, Tennessee, obviously where she is from, where she went to university and graduated as a star athlete. She is interrupted by Naomi. They have a back and forth conversation. Naomi extends her character of being extremely weird and, a heel, basically. Anyway, in that moment, we see that Bianca is not cleared for in-ring action because there's no physical contact between the two. She's interrupted by Jade, who is later interrupted by Nia to start the match. Now, I will say I'm pleased to see some sort of validation for Naomi's character, the new heel change. I do feel like it works. I feel like it has legs. I've said this before. So I'm glad to see Naomi pick up the win in that Money in the Bank qualifier match between Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. And she picked it up in a kind of crafty, sneaky, intelligent way. So that was good. It fits with the character. As I said, I think the character has legs, and we definitely have to validate it. Come on, people. She's wearing caution tape to the ring. Let's talk about R-Truth deciding to have a match against JC Mateo. Now, first thing I'll say is that tour of the islands is an absolute beautiful move. I didn't think someone could make a body slam like that look interesting because it's basically the world's strongest slam, or it's sort of a mixture of the world's strongest slam and, if anybody remembers Abyss, the black hole slam. Now, I know there's a few other people that do the black hole slam. I think Sami Callihan actually does the black hole slam as well. And there is a new character on the WWE TV, Carver, I believe it is, from LFG, the graduate. He also uses the black hole slam as a finisher. But the kind of mixture of black hole slam and world's strongest slam, essentially, I think it actually looks like a very interesting and fairly devastating move, especially when done by JC Mateo. Aside from that, what's R-Truth thinking? I don't quite understand where his mind was at. That was always going to be a consummate beating. Listen, you're like 50 years old. Just stick to giving us the jokes and the laughs. You're probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, the industry has ever seen at doing what you do. Just keep doing that. So, yeah, let's talk about Damian Priest. I think I'm warming to Damian Priest, but not as a wrestler, not in a way that he's over. I am warming to Damian Priest in the way of I can clearly see that he is something of a good guy, a nice guy. He's absolutely huge, but it seems almost like not necessarily a gentle giant, but a real hearty soul. So I'm not sure what his real name is. I've never Googled it or anything like that, but I'm warming to him in that sense. And it's ironic because I don't think he's getting over like he should do. And I think he's too nice. That's what I honestly think about Damian Priest. I think he's too nice. He came out and he did a promo, and he essentially, in kayfabe, as much as he could, thanked Drew McIntyre for giving him the match and kind of building him. It was rubbing. That's what Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest is. Drew is clearly a much bigger star, and it's rubbing to try and get Damian Priest in that sphere. I'm not sure it's working. I can't say by 100%. Maybe it's just me. As I said, as far as Damian Priest being over and being a loved wrestler, I don't see it. I'm not necessarily a big fan in that respect. I'm a fan of the man who portrays the character of Damian Priest because he's worked hard. He worked hard on the indies. He worked hard in NXT. He is a consummate professional. He's not hurting his performers in matches. He does everything right. But I think the character of Damian Priest is maybe a little too nice because even though he kept up the pretense of Drew McIntyre being the enemy, here's what I'm saying. Think of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin will crack a beer with the person he is friendly-ish with. He's got no beef with that person. He'll crack a beer with them, and then he'll stun at that person. Take Becky Lynch, for example. When Becky Lynch became the star she is, It was because she lost the match, she lost her temper, and she beat up everybody in the match. At the end of the match, a sore loser. I think people can resonate with these characters a lot more than they can with the good guy. And it's the same reason people explain time and time again on WWE documentary that The Rock couldn't get over when he first came into the WWE because he was too nice. Smiling all the time, happy when I was just happy to be there, kind of. And Damian Priest gives off that energy a little bit. I think he should, at least for a period of time, not show any respect to anyone whatsoever. I think Randy Orton's another perfect example. Randy Orton can afford to show respect to a competitor now. But the legend killer Randy Orton in those early days was extremely disrespectful to absolutely everyone and didn't give an inch of quarter to respect or admiration to anyone. I think that's what we need from Damian Priest. Do not thank Drew McIntyre for a great match. Do not tell the audience he brought the heat. None of that. Everybody gets a, what does he call his choke slam? Something of heavens. That choke slam, do that every time. It's going to bug me for the rest of this now, and I'm not going to cut. I'm going to wait until it pops into my head. And a South of Heaven. Okay, I remembered it. South of Heaven. Yeah, I think he should just hit everyone with that move all the bloody time. Friend, foe, in between, referee, management, Nick Aldis. It doesn't matter. Just remember Stone Cold in his prime. Leave out the niceness, at least for a couple of years. That's my suggestion about Damian Priest, and I think he'll get over a lot more if he does that. Right, so next I want to talk about the state of the tag team division and the absolute hell that has descended into. I called it. Some of you might have seen my video before where I called for war games, because I've never seen a tag team war games, and I think it would be awesome to see a tag team war games. Quite frankly, I have always just loved faction on faction beef. I mean, Undisputed Era versus Sanity, Undisputed Era versus Imperium, Rock Nation versus Tory Lanez. Might I say, Fraxium's music is absolutely terrible. Terrible. Yeah, and Tommaso Ciampa, Psycho Killer, is scared of the Wyatt Six. I find that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I like that. That's a good angle. Ixnay on the family. I like that. That was funny. Yeah, so yeah, great to see all of that culminate into one. As I said, I would love to have seen them in War Games, but I guess that's not going to happen. They're going to go for Money in the Bank. I guess it's going to be some kind of ladder match or something of that sort. Bearing in mind, we only have a week until Money in the Bank. I do think this is all being built fairly slowly. It's a little bit odd. Let's talk also about an underrated superstar, one I think has done great things for the WWE, and we don't quite realize how much this character has to give and has so far given. And that character for me is Nikki Cross. I think you have to look at every single iteration of Nikki Cross and realize that every single one was a champion in some right, if I'm not mistaken. One of them may not have been, and that is the Sanity Nikki Cross. Sanity Nikki Cross, and that was probably because she was in NXT. I don't think she picked up the women's title. I think she competed it for quite a few times, but she didn't win it. I think Sanity Nikki Cross is probably my favorite Nikki Cross. I am a fan of Nikki Cross. I do have a soft spot in my heart for British wrestlers, and Nikki Cross is one of the greater of those. Her name may not carry all that much weight in the industry, but I think she's phenomenal, because if you think of Nikki Cross, Sanity Nikki Cross, you think of Nikki ASH, actual superhero. Remember that? Was champion. Nikki Cross, just the normal or general Nikki Cross herself, was also women's champion. And now we have this Wyatt Six Nikki Cross. And I would say all four of those versions of Nikki Cross were over. Awful. The Sanity Nikki Cross, I said again, is my favorite. I don't understand how WWE fumbled that one as far as Sanity goes, but they did. But every version of her was an absolutely phenomenal character. And I think we should note at this point, you don't hold the WWE title that many times without being an actual legitimate strong wrestler. So yeah, Nikki Cross, underrated. I'm so glad to see her back on TV. I've been thinking to myself for a while, where has Nikki Cross been? And then I forgot, oh yeah, she's in the YEET now. She is in fact back, but she's not getting as much time. And we haven't seen Nikki Cross wrestle a match for, I would say, a couple of years now, no? We haven't seen her since she was ASH. Crazy, but glad to see Nikki Cross back. Um, Also, another thing I'm glad to see is the appearance of Javon Evans on SmackDown, because I think that's going to be his brand. I think they have a lot of confidence in Javon Evans. I think it's a little bit Velveteen Dream-ish. And I mean the good parts, not the bad, controversial, still making weird videos online, Mr. Clark version. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pure wrestling ability, getting over and being able to speak well and being a product of NXT. I do know that he wrestled on the Indies. I'm just saying he did also come through the Performance Center. Please don't beat me up on that. But in that respect, I think SmackDown is the brand they will allow Javon Evans to try and make his name on. So in that respect, it's good to see him debut on SmackDown. It's good to see him somewhere near the main roster anyway, because I think he's phenomenal. He's going to be one for the ages. He's going to be one for the ages because the fact that he might not be as bulky doesn't really make a difference because of the level of match he can put on. And it's always an underdog thing, and underdogs are great. I think Javon Evans is an underdog the level of Sami Zayn. And I think we will see that in the coming because he can cut promos. He can cut promos. It's just when you think he's fumbling at his promo, he hits a spot of genius. What about you, ain't Trick Williams? You Carmelo Hayes. Okay, so let's move on. I am happy to see Andrade get shot. I think it's very much like Naomi. I don't think he'll win the match, but to see him in a match like Money in the Bank, Andrade is a highlight reel. And as I'm saying it now, I don't just want to Andrade through this. I want to Andrade Cien Almas. Don't know why WWE dropped that name. It's one of the most names I have ever heard in my life. And I'm glad to see him in a spot, able to show what he's got. That back elbow is amazing. The double moonsault is amazing. Wait to War Games. He's going to do one from the ring onto the outside from the turnbuckle, and it is going to be the most phenomenal moonsault you've ever seen. I wouldn't put him past doing one off of the top of a ladder, but when I say to you, it's the most beautiful moonsault I've ever seen. It's better than Christopher Daniels was. It's better than Tiffany's is. It's better than Jacob's is. It's flawless. Arms all the way out, legs together the whole way. Phenomenal. That's it for today. And if you like the content, please hit like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It will let you know when I'm uploading next. And until then, please comment in the comment section. I've been the Triple Crown Champ. I'll see you next time.